I'm recording, Michael. Okay, so today's Wednesday, April 15th. It is 6:38 p.m. and we'll call the Industrial Development Commission meeting to order. We have 3 items on the agenda today. One is new business interests, and we have Alyssa Nowak here with Lucky Green Ladies and her attorney, Nick, who I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but I know you will, Alyssa. And then we'll have some discussion on the application process update, and then we have to get through some meeting minutes as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Alyssa. And Alyssa, are you familiar with Zoom? I know you said you had a presentation that you wanted to share. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen. And then also I wanted to just say before I get started that after we're done, I'm going to call in if that's okay, because I still want to keep listening, but I'm sure Nick has things to do. So I'm going to call in and just listen on my way home. So I'm going to share the screen.
Just a point of order, Mr. Chairman. So Denise, Laura, myself, and Sandy. Is there anybody else is anyone else taking notes? Or
I'll grab the notes.
You're gonna grab the notes? Okay.
Oh wait, Michael, it's your turn, isn't it?
I volunteered, and that's why I cursed when
You did.
You just kept your mouth shut.
Yep, you have the notes.
I'm a man of my word, so I will be glad to take notes. So I have Denise, Laura, Sandy, did I miss anyone? Okay, thank you.
So good evening, Chairwoman and members of the Commission. My name is Alyssa Nowak. I'm the founder and CEO of Lucky Green Ladies. We're proposing an adult use marijuana retail establishment, and also joining me today is my attorney, Nicholas Obolensky, as well from Obolensky and Balcom LLC. So this is a little outline of things that we're going to be covering tonight. You guys just wanted to give it a quick look. And then a little bit about us. Lucky Green Ladies is a small mom and daughter business that understands the other side of the market. Our focus and commitment is giving back to others like us whose lives have been negatively impacted by the war on drugs. Our proposed location is 175 Mansfield Avenue, previously the Frozen Yogurt and Smoothie. That's in the Great Marketplace. Location K through 12 school, and our proposed hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. We do currently have site control for Unit 14 at 175 Mansfield Avenue, and we've executed a letter of intent with the property owner, Gator Investments, for this site on April 1st. Since then, we're negotiating a lease and are in the final stages. We expect it to be signed and binding either later this week or next. We're extremely enthusiastic about this location and think that it would be a really great fit for Lucky Green Ladies as well as the town of Norton. So this is just another view of our location. And I wanted to talk a bit about why Gator was such a good location for a marijuana retail store. So it has the potential to meet multiple needs in one spot while creating a symbiotic relationship between Lucky Green Ladies and the other stores in the marketplace. Our proposed location will bring in traffic that is going to support multiple businesses within the plaza and surrounding area. For example, before or after shopping at Lucky Green Ladies, customers may purchase a sandwich next door, pick up some McDonald's, or grab some groceries. It also creates ample opportunities for our employees to shop at other businesses in the plaza. They grab lunch or dinner from local restaurants, run errands on their break, and grab drinks from local bars after work. This keeps money local and further creates a tight-knit community vibe. After we execute the lease with Gator, we will create a data report on businesses and plazas across Massachusetts that abut or are in close proximity to a marijuana retail establishment. We will look to see what types of stores are in the plaza and if they've seen an uptick in business since the marijuana retail establishment commenced operation. If our hypothesis is found to be true, we will then present a hard data report to Roach Brothers showing the increased foot traffic Lucky Green Ladies will bring to the grocery store. If Lucky Green Ladies can increase the foot traffic, Roach Brothers may stay. And if the CCC allows, we plan to work directly with Roach Brothers on promotions. For example, spend $200 at Lucky Green Ladies and receive a $20 Roach Brothers gift certificate. And then further, we will conduct a survey with 500 Town of Norton residents to examine their grocery store of choice, distance, and reason for shopping. We'll share this information with Roach Brothers. We do this because at Lucky Green Ladies, we value and understand the importance and relationships with local businesses. These relationships leverage the expertise and experience of local businesses and contribute to the business community's long-term growth. They're also often a key tool for fostering camaraderie between business owners, so that as foot traffic to one business increases, other nearby businesses benefit through increased exposure and word-of-mouth referrals. And then this is what we propose the interior of our establishment to look like. We're hoping to really create a small boutique marijuana retail store and plan on having a forest decor, which will provide a homey and comforting vibe and atmosphere. So our mission at Lucky Green Ladies is to provide our customers with unparalleled service, quality, and a unique atmosphere while providing a socially responsible and environmentally friendly outlet to purchase cannabis. Lucky Green Ladies is devoted to supporting local licensed cultivators whose products meet our rigid standard of excellence. And beyond the four walls, our mission is to be a leader in advocating for social justice by empowering social equity participants in Massachusetts and the US to bring their dreams to life. And a little bit about us. Myself, Alyssa Nowak, the founder and CEO. I live in Bellingham with my girlfriend Megan and our two adorable cats. I am a social equity participant because I have been marginalized by former prohibition of marijuana. I graduated with a BA in psychology from Centenary University in Hackettstown, New Jersey. And throughout college, I was an athlete and played on the women's softball team, the Centenary Cyclones. I will be receiving an MBA from Anna Maria College at the end of this May, and I'm on track to graduate with a 3.8 GPA. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts for the last 5 years while attending school full-time. I started at the bottom and worked every position until becoming a restaurant manager. I ran a medium to high volume Dunkin' Donuts that served 600 to 700 customers a day at a busy eastbound Route 9 location in Newton Highlands outside of Boston. I have a depth of experience with cannabis in the legacy market, which helped me understand consumer needs, as well as the plant, the various strains, use-dependent strains, and consumer preferences. I've also been a cannabis advocate since 2014, and I am currently being mentored by Caroline Frankel of Caroline's Cannabis, the first mom and pop shop to open in Massachusetts, located in Uxbridge. And my mom, Joanne Nowak, is a well-recognized business owner in Middletown, New York. She's the owner of Supersuds Laundromat, a sleep-in hotel with a Norton planning, and most recently she purchased an auto parts store, which she does retail and distribution. And what my mom's big part in Lucky Green Ladies is providing financial backing and support that would really ensure the viability of our business. And my attorney, Nicholas, he licensed the first standalone retail marijuana establishment in Massachusetts. He licensed the first micro business in Massachusetts and has a large depth of experience with assisting Massachusetts cannabis businesses. And beyond Massachusetts, he has experience in assisting the startup of cultivation facilities and retail marijuana establishments in Colorado. C3RN is providing us assistance in the licensure process. They're mass cannabis industry experts that focus primarily on advocacy in medical marijuana and veterans and helping applicants obtain licensure from the Cannabis Control Commission. And Tony Gallo with Sapphire Risk, he couldn't be with us tonight, so he wrote a little something about his background and the security plan that they're going to be providing for Lucky Green Ladies. So Sapphire Risk is a group of cannabis security advisors that was founded in 2013. As one of the earliest security advisors to enter the industry, Sapphire has gained the knowledge necessary to identify security risks and help businesses prevent them in compliance with 935 CMR 500 and any and all bylaws. Security plans will also be designed in compliance with Section 175-21.5, Section A9, and will provide a description of security measures, including employee security policies approved by Commission and local law enforcement. Sapphire Risk has extensive experience in implementing loss prevention controls and processes that mitigate security threats from armed robbery and burglary. Sapphire has designed security operations for over 60 cannabis businesses in 24 states, including over 20 in California. Tony Gallo is the managing partner at Sapphire Risk Advisory Group. Gallo specializes in security and loss prevention for high-risk businesses and has a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice from New Jersey City University. And then my father, Martin Nowak, co-owns most of the businesses with my mom. He owns apartment complexes in Farmington, New Mexico, and it owns an accounting business in Middletown, New York. And then I did mention that I was a social equity participant. So this is just a little bit of background on the social equity program. So the social equity program is a free statewide technical assistance and training program that provides education, skill-based training, and tools for success in the cannabis industry. This program is offered by the Cannabis Control Commission. The social equity program focuses on those most impacted by the war on drugs, marijuana prohibition, and disproportionate arrests and incarceration. The social equity program does not guarantee licensure, but the Cannabis Control Commission is looking for the support of municipalities supporting these designated individuals, such as myself. These are some of the classes that I've already taken in the social equity program. I'm not going to read them all, but just to give the commission an idea of the content that is in the program and some of the classes that we take. I'm a participant of the first social equity cohort, and I've been enrolled in the social equity program since October of 2019, and my final class, I believe it's next week actually, is April 23rd. So some of the benefits associated with the program is, like I mentioned, the free technical assistance and training. There's an expedited application review, waived application fees, 50% reduction of the annual license fee, waive seed to sale metric monthly program fees, and then exclusive access to social consumption and delivery only license types for at least a 2-year period. And how social equity would directly benefit the town of Norton, the expedited licensure review will give us the ability to open doors faster than a general applicant. Delivery is a separate license and would require a separate HCA from the town of Norton. We plan to pursue this after we submit our retail application to the CCC. There's another community impact fee associated with the HCA for delivery, which would boost the revenue of the town. And with delivery, we'd be able to cover large areas of Bristol County. And in simpler terms, we'd be able to sell more product. So why us? Consumers will know that the cannabis they purchase comes from a women-owned social equity LGBTQ business that prioritizes living wages with advancement opportunities for all employees, diversity in local hiring. For the first month, we'll only be open to Norton residents. We'll advertise employment opportunities on Norton Facebook groups and other social media, obviously upon approval from the town and the Cannabis Control Commission, as well as on our website. We also offer sustainably grown organic cannabis, and our cannabis goes through rigorous testing and inspection to ensure not only compliance with all regulations, but quality that surpasses the bar set by regulators. And then this is a proposed timeline. I know Corona has kind of pushed things back a little bit, but in April, we received our letter of intent. And then if all goes well at the town meeting, hopefully, in July, we will have signed our HCA. And then in that same month, we plan to submit to the Cannabis Control Commission. And then this part right here is kind of what takes the longest. It's from the time that you submit till when they actually deem your application complete. This is just because there's so many applicants and they have such a large queue of people waiting. It takes them a long time to get through everybody. But once our application is deemed complete, then we hope 3 months later we will be granted our provisional license. And in that sense, we will apply for our special permit through the town of Norton. And then once our special permit is granted, we'll begin our build out of the facility. And then 2 months after that, we suspect the build out to be complete. And then 2 months after that, we're going to the Cannabis Control Commission conducts inspections. So we'll have our inspections complete, and then we'll get our final license from the Cannabis Control Commission, and then commencing operations in November 2021. This is a realistic perspective, but obviously we hope to complete each step as fast as possible. So a little bit about our business model. We are a brick and mortar, conveniently located retail store with ample parking, experienced staff, and a welcoming atmosphere. Our key partners are going to be the landlord, the town of Norton, licensed marijuana cultivators, and product manufacturers. Some of the key metrics that keep us successful will be our customer satisfaction surveys and online reviews. We will track how many new customers we have, our gross profit, flow in, flow out, and market share. Some of the key resources that we'll be depending on is on-time delivery of the product. We are going to be buying our own, I'm talking about delivery from the cultivator to the marijuana establishment. we will be purchasing our own delivery van, and so that we could pick up the product when we need it and we can stay consistent for our customers. And it also helps us randomize the delivery times more, since we'll be in control of that. And then a competitive landscape, there are going to be retail marijuana establishments in Mansfield, Attleboro, Rehoboth, and Taunton. There's a ban on recreational sales in Easton. And what's funny about the one in Mansfield is that I think for the first 5 or 6 months, they have to be an appointment only. So that we feel will deter a lot of customers from going to the Mansfield location. And I think the parking situation is a little bit funny too. So hopefully we'll get some customers from that end as well. And then our business model, we have the customer segment, which is pretty much our target market, which is going to be males aged anywhere between 27 and 54. I didn't give you the revenue stream for 2021 because it was only a couple months and I wanted to have you guys see what a full year would look like. But these are our revenue streams for 2022, 2023, and 2024. We based our calculations on market conditions projected in 2022 to 2027, and we took into account the number of stores that are going to be open by the time that we're operational. Stores now are making anywhere between 10 and 15 million. So this is a conservative projection, but we do believe that it's realistic and achievable. So some of the products that we'll be offering at the store is going to be the cannabis flower, which is smokable green leafy bud, and then the edibles, which is food infused with cannabinoids, as well as the raw pre-rolls, ground flower rolled into a cone-like cylinder, what most people know as a joint. Cartridges, which is a pre-filled container of cannabis oil or concentrate designed for electronic cannabis devices, as well as then we're going down to the concentrates, which is substances in which the more desirable properties of cannabis are extracted. These are mainly smokable oils or tinctures. And then topicals, cannabis-infused products applied to the skin, such as lotions, salves, and patches. So we'll have a little bit of everything, and we really want this to be a one-stop shop and really meet customers that have large needs. And then here for our pricing structure, we start at the low, which will be products with lower THC levels. This is going to be for people that are on a budget or they're beginner and they don't need powerful stuff. And then going to the medium price range, this is going to be our most popular price range, and this is currently what most dispensaries carry. This would be a medium THC, just a regular product that everybody knows. And then we're going to the high end, which is high levels of THC, extremely quality. Some people consider this as exotics. This high bracket would be mainly for, the connoisseurs of cannabis. So our zoning, I just have to move you guys because I can't see the screen. The zoning districts, so we are in commercial and the marijuana overlay, located on Route 140 North, Great Woods Marketplace. 175 Mansfield Avenue is not located within 500 feet of a school, and 175 Mansfield Avenue is not located within 500 feet by another parcel occupied by another marijuana establishment, hopefully. Right now it's not, but you never know. So then our town bylaws, Lucky Green Ladies will abide by all town bylaws. No marijuana will be smoked, eaten, or otherwise consumed or ingested within or outside the premises. We'll have security guards to really maintain that. Then also we'll have tinted windows so the public won't be able to see into the interior of the establishment from the exterior. And marijuana odor will not be detected by a normal person on the outside or even in the adjoining businesses. We plan to have an odor mitigating system meant for cultivation with commercial facilities also use. It's carbon filtered and it's a whole HVAC system. So this is used in cultivation facilities. It's a bit overkill for the retail establishment, but we really want to make sure that we're being respectful to our neighbors and the town of Norton and that no marijuana can be detected.
I think I'm going to give Alyssa a little bit of a break here and do a little bit of this. She's been going for a little while. So again, my name is Nick Obolensky, and I have a fair amount of experience in the cannabis industry and got right into it from the beginning. I actually started off before, I'm licensed to practice law in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And before Massachusetts went legal or medical, it was medical in Rhode Island, and I worked with a variety of clients here. before I moved to Massachusetts. And obviously, this is what I'm about to get into. The operating plan is a lot more extensive than what I'm going to go through. I'm going to do my best to keep it brief, and we did our best to keep it high level. There's just a couple slides, but operating to towns, to the Cannabis Control Commission, and so it is worth putting some detail in. So Lucky Green Ladies plans on sourcing its inventory from only those cultivators, product manufacturers, processors, and micro businesses that are licensed by the Cannabis Control Commission. As a participant in the social equity program, Alyssa's developed extensive contacts within that program that are going to assist her in sourcing from other social equity participants, which helps advantage previously disadvantaged participants in the industry. Lucky Green Ladies will make sure that the products actually have been tested and the results either met or exceeded state regulations. Additionally, Lucky Green Ladies will ensure that the products and tests are properly documented in Metric. And I don't know if you know, but Metric is the seed sale tracking system that Massachusetts utilizes and is used by 10, maybe more other states in the country. Lucky Green Ladies will apply rigorous quality control measures. For example, upon receiving product, our agents will conduct expiration date and packaging monitoring to ensure that all incoming product has sufficient shelf life and has proper functional and undamaged childproof packaging. Expiration dates will be routinely monitored, and employees will have strict sanitary policies and procedures. All product coming and going to Lucky Green Ladies will be safely transported in accordance with all CCC regulations, and strict inventory and storage procedures will be followed. All right. To ensure retail compliance during the sales, inventorying, and maintenance of the retail space and products, Lucky Green Ladies will only hire qualified applicants 21 years of age or older for clearly documented positions. Lucky Green Ladies will adequately train new employees and require training refresher courses for employees on an annual basis or more often if necessary. For example, all employees will be required to pass state-mandated responsible vendor training tests. They'll be required to attend and pass a metric training class so they thoroughly understand the importance and requirement of seed to sale tracking. Employees will be required to take diversity awareness training classes and a variety of other types of training classes that we believe are very important for cannabis employees to understand and to go through. They'll be trained on responsible sanitary dispensing procedures, and Lucky Green Ladies will make sure that employees are not only aware of, but have written or electronic copies of all the policies and procedures that they're going to be expected to follow. They will be required to submit to full background checks, including courier reports, and Lucky Green Ladies will restrict facility access to only those persons aged 21 and older, and perform no fewer than 2 ID verifications for every customer upon every visit to the store. In accordance with CCC regulations, Lucky Green Ladies will take steps to ensure proper corporate social responsibility, including but not limited to documenting and religiously following a progressive diversity plan. Now, Lucky Green Ladies is committed to providing an environment that is free from illegal discrimination and harassment, and which fosters the professional development of each individual in an inclusive, diverse, and equal opportunity workplace. The owners of Lucky Green Ladies are responsible for the implementation of this policy, and all managers and supervisors have the responsibility to maintain and further the principles of equal employment opportunity and to embrace diversity and promote an inclusive culture. Our main task is to work to eliminate all patterns of unequal treatment. Lucky Green Ladies, being a 100% female-owned and operated company, is committed to promoting, encouraging, and supporting economic empowerment and diversity in market participation. Lucky Green Ladies intends to lead the cannabis community on this front by assembling a diverse workforce consisting of minorities, women, veterans, people with disabilities, people of all gender identities and sexual orientation, people of varying socioeconomic backgrounds, and people from communities that have previously been disproportionately impacted by marijuana prohibition and enforcement. To ensure robust diversity participation at Lucky Green Ladies, priority hiring, training, and advancements will be implemented company-wide. Lucky Green Lady will enact policies and procedures specifically designed to prevent the diversion of cannabis products to minors and the illicit market. It will ensure that no person under the age of 21 is allowed on the premises, provide consumer education about the risks and penalties involved with diverting cannabis to minors, and all products will be labeled as product intended for consumption only by adults 21 years or older, and of course, childproof. Lucky Green Ladies will be maintaining all financial records for every transaction, such that at any given time, a forensic analysis or audit can be easily completed, and so we'll know where every penny coming in and going out went.
And then I'll take it back over from here. So here we have the community, sorry, I get my pages right. So we have the community impact, which would be the revenue generated for the town of Norton. And again,
So you know, Alyssa, Renee and I did the math.
that?
Just so you know, Renee and I already did the math on that as soon as you gave the other projections. And if I know Sandy and I know Laura, we all did the math.
Awesome. Yeah, so I hope I'm in the right ballpark. Do you want me to skip this then?
No,
Go ahead.
Keep going.
I saw when you made, when that slide popped up, I saw everybody's head go down. And so I'm like, oh, everybody's doing a calculation. Go ahead, please, sorry.
Okay. So this is based off of the revenue that I gave you guys previous, and with the host community impact fee, along with the local option excise tax combined, it would be $483,390 a year, and that would be 6% of the revenue. We plan to give this to the town of Norton in a form of check, and this will be delivered every quarter. As well as we will be extremely transparent on our financial statements. I'm not sure how that would exactly work. I know we do submit them to the Cannabis Control Commission, so I don't know if the town of Norton directly gets those documents from the Cannabis Control Commission, or we could just submit them directly to you. But we are transparent on that. So then furthering on the community impact, the local employment
Actually,
opportunities.
Can I just ask one, can you go back one slide?
Oh, back one slide.
Yeah. That was annual numbers, not quarterly, correct?
Yes, this is annual numbers.
Okay. That's what I
But
thought.
we will deliver quarterly.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then you'll divide it and you'll deliver.
Yes,
Okay.
you got it. So for the community impact, local employment opportunities, we have a commitment to hire Norton residents, minorities, social equity, and economic empowerment participants. We'll be creating 12 full-time jobs and 3 part-time jobs. And some of those positions include a bud tender, manager, packer, security guards, and then key holders. And then we pledge to, I know that this is not required, but we pledge 150 hours minimum of volunteering in the town of Norton annually. We truly believe small businesses have a great impact in the town, and we want to be as involved as possible. So then furthering on the community impact, traffic and parking, the Great Woods Marketplace has 765 parking spots in total. 60 of those will be reserved for Lucky Green Ladies. We'll be keeping the traffic moving with minimal lines. Consumers usually spend 2 to 5 minutes at a dispensary. And we will be prioritizing the speed of service. I mentioned to you guys that I was previously a manager at Dunkin' Donuts. So in the morning time, as you can imagine, it's all about speed of service. The Dunkin' Donuts brand had a 120-second time that they wanted customers to come in and be out. And we actually beat that. We had 80 seconds that a customer would be in and out. So I'm very experienced on speed of service and making that our priority. So we'll also disclose the peak hours of, when we'll be the busiest on our website to try and avoid congestion. And then we'll encourage customers to pre-order and pick up in the store, which would be faster. And then, as I mentioned as well, social equity participants have the exclusive priority for 2 years for delivery. So that could also help on the congestion of traffic as well. We could be delivering to a lot more people. And then on the smell and odor, we'll have smell-proof packaging. And like I mentioned, that on-site consumption of marijuana and marijuana products is prohibited, so nobody will be smoking inside or out. We'll have insulated walls in the packaging in the storage room. This is where most marijuana is exposed, where it can become extremely smelly, for lack of a better word. But these insulated walls will really help contain the odor of marijuana. And then as well, as I mentioned, the odor mitigating system meant for cultivation and commercial facilities. This has carbon filters, which really eliminate all smell of marijuana. So in Roach Brothers or the best sandwich shop next door, you will not be able to smell marijuana. And then for our positive impact plan, we hope to have workshops and personal one-on-one mentorships with participants from the social equity and the economic empowerment program, giving them further technical assistance and training beyond what they do learn in the program, because I mentioned also that Caroline Frankel has been my mentor, and that really inspired me to help other people beyond what the state is giving us, because with her help, I don't think that I'd be able to get this far. She's really awesome. So I want to do that for other people. And I think that that's really powerful and important. So we want to inspire cannabis entrepreneurs to start and maintain a marijuana retail establishment. And then for donations, we pledge to make donations to the town of Norton schools. We have a variety of ideas we're currently developing, but one of them includes providing funding for the Norton Public Schools to enhance their counseling service for students. Or I'm open to any other charitable locations that the commission suggests. So in conclusion, we are proposing a marijuana retail establishment at 175 Mansfield Avenue, Unit 14, next to the Roach Brothers. I am a social equity participant, so I would get my licensure faster than a general applicant, which means that the revenue for the town would be generated faster, as well as I get that 2-year exclusive delivery period. So we'll be able to reach more customers. You are allowed to deliver in other towns as long as the other town says that it's okay. So we can reach customers in other towns as well, which will generate more revenue for us. And then I am a small business owner. This is me and my mom that we're doing this. We are LGBTQ business, and we really believe in the importance of diversity and inclusion in this industry, and it's really important. So I'm open to any next steps that the commission has for us. And then I'm going to open it up to any questions.
I'm going to say that Laura's probably on deck with some questions.
I was just wondering if you had already identified, if you planned a single source of your product, and if you had already identified your sourcing of your products.
So that comes pretty much around the provisional license time. We do have a couple non-binding agreements from Beerleaf and Curaleaf, that states that it is a non-binding agreement, but it does state that when we are operational, they would be willing to service us with product.
And there are also several social equity participants that are in the same cohort with Alyssa that already have their provisional licenses and have tacitly said that she would have their supply of products that they're cultivating and processing.
Okay. How many different brands of product do you expect to be selling?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think it would be however many we can get our hands on. We want to have a wide variety of products, and we want to serve the needs of as many customers as we can. So I know that there's a bit of a supply and demand issue right now, but as soon as that goes away, I mean, we're open to pretty much anything as long as it does meet the standards of the town, the CCC, and our standard of excellence.
Okay.
Right.
That was actually, sorry, that actually was my next question, was how to address the current supply problem with the flower.
So because I'm a social equity participant, I've made a lot of connections in the program, as well as with being Caroline Frankel's mentee. She was one of the first mom and pop shops, or one of the first, I think she was 22 to open. So she has made a lot of connections, and she said that she's more than happy to pass those on to me. So I think it's really about who you know is how you get the product. But we don't suspect that by 2021 there'd be that much of a supply demand problem. Hopefully it levels out.
That was what I was going to add. By the time that we get through the regulatory process, we're confident that there will be a lot more cultivators online and a much greater supply. Part of the problem with how there was a lack of supply is, while a retail operation Well, it might take the same amount of time to get regulated through the CCC. The difference is if a retail store is done with their licensing, they can open the doors and start selling product. A cultivator then has to pop seeds, and it takes there's a much bigger delay even once they get their final license before they're able to get their product to market. So by 2021, or even by next year, or that is next year, but in the next year or two, it's the landscape is going to change dramatically. I have I don't know, I can think of 5 to 10 clients that I have right now that have provisional licenses in the cultivation and processing realm. And as Alyssa said, it's all about contacts, and how you source product and who's going to sell you your product is about who you know and how you know them. So our partnership, her knowing me and me having a wide range of clients in the industry, that is helpful. Additionally, having relationships with other clients like Caroline, well, I guess she is a client, but with other people in the industry like Caroline Frankel, that helps. And then being a social equity participant and having C3RN on the team, which is an advocacy group that knows pretty much every cannabis company that's operational right now in Massachusetts. All of that helps and will allow Alyssa and Lucky Green Ladies to have a steady stream of supply.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman. Commitment, you guys are committed to starting at $16 an hour. Is that, did I read that? Did I hear that?
Yes, and then by the next year in 2022, we're planning to have that reach the $20 an hour, and then we'll be paying 80% of all benefits, health, dental, and vision.
Great. What do you see as the average hourly? I mean, is most of the staff going to be full time, part time? How does it? I'm not familiar with.
No, that's okay. So it is pretty. I would say about $14 to $15 is the average. So we're a little bit higher than that. And then we plan to have 12 full-time employees, and that is between bud tenders, the manager, the security guards, and packer. And then 3 part-time jobs would pretty much cover our weekends, because we do, especially when the Xfinity Center has concerts, or just in general, weekends are busier, that will have extra staff there to be able to contain and take care of everything. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was perfect. And am I not can you not do, and the committee's shame on me for not knowing this, medical, you're not doing medical, and is that allowed under this license as well, or no? And so.
No, we are not doing medical. I think that would have to be a separate license that we would be applying for, but no, this is just strictly adult use.
But anybody is allowed to purchase. So
Yeah.
A medical license holder can certainly purchase at a recreational establishment.
But it is not in your model right now to go for a medical.
No. No.
And last but not least, have you done any analysis on what the lease costs are and what the taxes on that spot would be? Have you done any analysis on that?
I have that information.
Okay.
I could, yes, I would.
It's about $4 a square foot.
I think it's $4.60.
It's a little more than $4 a square foot in the.
Okay. And 1,500 square feet, was it?
2,250.
Okay.
I would actually.
Obviously, that space has been empty. That space has been empty for several years. That's actually an increased revenue on the taxes, the real estate tax for that space as well, because they're getting rebated back on that because it's an empty space. So.
Yeah, this would be a really great location for us. We know that, they're declining. We know that Roach Brothers is possibly going to be leaving. So we really wanted, that's why I spoke about doing the research. I have a great data analyst. I can't talk tonight, but I have a great person with data that was David Robinquist that has been working with me on this, and we really want to do the data report for Roach Brothers to try and get them to stay and show them that, hey, things might be hard right now, but once we are operational, there's going to be an increased amount of foot traffic to the store. So hopefully that they'll stay.
Great.
We lost Peter. Peter would have liked to hear that.
Yes, Laura.
Go ahead, Laura.
Going back to the number, the employees, at any given time, how many full-time employees would you expect in the store?
At any given time, I would say about 6 to 7.
Okay.
Most of the employees are going to be full-time. We really only have the 3 employees that we expect to have on the weekends or when it gets a little bit busier, maybe in the summertime. But
Okay.
yeah, pretty much all full-time employees.
So there's always a manager, there's always a packer, there's always security, and I'm assuming there's always sales.
Yes. So we have about 2 to 3 bud tenders, and there's always 1 packer, the manager, me, and then 1 security guard at the door.
Okay. I'm just looking at your hours. That's 105 hours a week that you're open. So at a 40-hour-a-week job, that's 2.6 people. So I'm thinking your full-time employees are going to be working significantly longer than 40 hours if we're only looking at 12 of them.
I have a whole schedule made. If you're interested in seeing it, I can send that to you. But I have a schedule made that covers who's going to be working what day and what times. And I mean, the owner and then the manager are going to be working 48 hours a week, but we have everybody else working about 38 to 40 hours a week. But it is fully staffed in those hours. We do cut at nighttime. We only have 2 bud tenders, but during the day we have 3. Then we always have the manager on staff that she could help it if it's busy. But at nighttime, we don't think, besides concert nights or weekend nights, we don't think it's going to be that busy.
Okay.
If you want, just let me know if you want me to send you the schedule.
I'm sure you have it worked out well. I'm just doing the rough math and thinking that, yeah, 15 hours a day, open 7 days a week, that staffing might not be sufficient with just the 12 full-time and 3 part.
It does work out. I know it may seem, but it does.
So Alyssa, I have some questions. You made a comment early on in the presentation about the establishment only being open the first month for Norton residents. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Why that position?
It's just hiring. Hiring.
Oh.
Yes.
She meant that the hiring will be only open to Norton residents for the first month.
I gotcha. Okay.
In order to entice local employees. And
Okay.
give them a leg up.
Okay. And then I also, on your timeline, you mentioned like the special permitting process, and it seemed like when I looked at that you're waiting quite a bit to actually go into the special permit process. Is there a reason why you wouldn't start it and run some things parallel? Like, is there something in the regulations that requires you to wait?
No, so that had me, I didn't put when I would start applying for the special permit. I put that it was take me a month to go through the entire process and then be granted the special permit.
How many months did you allocate for that?
1, but I mean, I know that we hope to be as fast as possible. I know it does take some time.
Yeah, I would at minimum, I would say, and somebody correct me, but 3 months.
Oh,
6
wow.
months is coming from Laura.
Oh, wow.
If we're erring on the very conservative side, if she's going to be the first one to go forward with this, yeah, budget 6 just to be safe and hope it comes in shorter.
Okay.
So-
No, I appreciate that though, because I didn't know that. That's good to know.
If somebody wants to disagree with me,
That period could be longer, but I think a period that could be significantly shorter than estimated is the time to get the provisional from the Cannabis Control Commission. I think we were providing a realistic or as realistic as we could come up with timeline with respect to the Cannabis Control Commission, which we know more about than we know about necessarily the town of Norton and how things move there. But with the Cannabis Control Commission, given the fact that she's a social equity applicant, that application gets put to the top of the stack. And so it is possible that that period will be shorter, even if some of the other periods are longer.
yeah, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm just.
No, I mean, honestly, it's good to know because that affects our financial projections as well. That's more time that we're paying rent on our buildings. So that definitely needs to be accounted for. So I appreciate
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing with that is granted, you know, I think, Laura, like we think 6 months, and a lot of that has to do with like conservation and some of the other committees that have to be involved, and that's not the case here, right? Because it's an existing property, so, but I mean, like when I think about
Just
the
even
review
getting on the
process,
agenda.
yeah, the review process, the public info session, the time for them to write up a decision, and certainly if it's, I don't know how many things are queuing up right now with the current environment, that they may not be taking on the agenda because it's not critical, right? And we're in this kind of remote setting, so they might be queuing things up too that could take some time. So just want to provide a more realistic. I mean, it's not saying that we wouldn't try to help where we could, and we've talked a lot about on the IDC early on about creating like a flow chart so that so applicants like you would know kind of what are you looking for time frame, who are the people that you need to contact, like a one-stop shop type of sheet. So in lieu of that, if we didn't have that, then we could certainly provide you with names and things like that to make sure that the process wasn't overly difficult. But yeah.
I think one area that could potentially shorten it with planning board that you'll have to your advantage is the RFI process to negotiate with an HCA, to negotiate with the board with an HCA. You will have provided and answered a lot of the questions that they are likely to have, and we'll make them available to them. I could see that potentially saving you some time in the long run.
Yeah. No, because that RFI is very in-depth.
Yes.
I like it though.
It's in depth, but we're pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Good. I have some more questions, unless, does somebody else have a question you want to jump in, or I'll just continue on with my list. This is just kind of a personal, are you guys able to sell cartridges right now?
So yes, we are able to sell cartridges right now. I know that there will be, I'm not sure if this goes for marijuana cartridges, but I think in July, there's going to be an increased tax on vaping devices. But right now, yes, the vape ban has been lifted. So dispensaries are selling cartridges.
Okay. And then another curiosity question, do you drug test your employees?
No, we don't.
For what specific drugs were you thinking, Renee?
Well, specifically marijuana. I mean, if they're dipping into the stash, it's kind of like a security safety check.
All right,
Well,
between you and me, I hope that the bud tenders are dipping into the product so that they can give me honest advice.
Well, that's not between me and you. It's recorded and all the time.
I was going to say it's recorded in a meeting. It's
Yeah.
not, I mean.
There's
Am I
no
torching-
test yet that could identify the presence of active. In other words, you wouldn't be able to figure out whether your employee was high on the job just from a test, from a urine or a blood test. They're working on that for the driving laws and so forth, but they don't have a test yet for that. So all it would show is that they have used cannabis. And I agree with, I don't see your name, but
Laura.
that you would hope that your bud tender was familiar with the product that they were serving.
The CCC doesn't require any other testing of employees for other illicit drugs?
No.
No, I don't even think that would be legal. I mean, you'd have to have some reason for believing that they would that you're going to do we're going to do background checks. We're going to ensure that they're not criminals and they're not related. They don't have any past drug history. They wouldn't even be able to become marijuana establishment agents if they have a criminal history that doesn't work for the CCC. And so otherwise, you would have to have a reason to believe that there was a problem or that they were under the influence of something or other. But you couldn't do it proactively.
So a question about the building, or that space, right? You said it's 2250 square feet?
Yes.
I've been in there, and Mike, when you said it's been closed for several years, I swear that I was there last summer getting yogurt with the kids, but I could be completely off on that.
It's been like 2.5 years since that particular one has been closed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't last very long.
No, it didn't, but I also didn't feel like it was that big, right? So, I mean, what are you projecting for customers daily? Because That's and I guess like how many, you said you're going to have 2 people doing sales?
3, 2 to
3
3.
people, 3 to 2, 3 doing sales. And how many customers do you anticipate in a day?
About 320. And then that we do have long hours of operation. So we don't expect all those people to be there at one time. That'd be really, I mean, we do definitely have peak hours, but we're also going to be building a vestibule in the, like right after the door, so that this is when customers walk in, then they can have their ID scanned. There's not going to be a line outside that I know that may be a nuisance. So they'll actually step into the vestibule, which would be pretty big. And now the actual retail store itself, where the sales floor is and such, that's not going to be that big. Our vestibule is going to take up a lot of the space. So because people are pretty much just getting what they need and then leaving. There's no couches, there's nowhere for anybody to sit. It's get your stuff and, go.
Gotcha.
So.
And then have you, having experience with Dunkin' Donuts, I mean, that plaza is pretty interesting, especially with the flow of the Dunkin' Donuts traffic. Have you talked to to Gator about that? Because really, typically when I go through there, like there's a line that extends from like the drive-through kind of out towards the front of the street, and then it kind of winds back like towards the entrance to Rochi's, like through parking spaces and things like that. So I'm just wondering if you had the conversation with them, not that I think it necessarily will impact you other than at those peak times.
No, we haven't had the conversation with them. We haven't signed the lease yet. I think more of that would come when we sign the lease. And then, as for my Dunkin' Donuts experience, if we're opening at 8 a.m., would really only have an hour conflicting in that peak time. Our peaks at Dunkin' Donuts are anywhere between like 6 to 9 a.m. And then after that, it's, just stragglers. So we don't, besides weekends are different. Definitely they get busier, around noontime and 11 o'clock, but it'll only really be that hour of interference. But I'm open to suggestions from the commission, from Dunkin' Donuts and from Gator to be, working with everybody and doing what we can in our part to make everything work out.
Yeah, I would just make sure it's part of your conversation, right? Because, I don't know what spaces they'll be allocating to you, but you certainly don't want those spaces where you have like the Dunkin' Donuts line heading through them now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Laura, did you have a question?
I did. I was just wondering what your plan was to prevent queuing outside on the sidewalk.
So we are going to have a security guard at the door that will take care of, any loitering or people. But they're going to be in the vestibule.
Okay. What if the vestibule is full?
If the vestibule is full, yes, they will have to be outside, but we don't really project that to happen because we are going to be moving really fast, and we can fit. There's still be, I think it's about 5 or 6 customers that we can fit inside too. And if everybody is in and out between 2 and 5 minutes, it kind of keeps the flow moving.
How many?
We'll have that pickup line for people to order online and then pick up.
How many people do you expect the vestibule to hold?
The vestibule holds about 20 people, 20 to 25 people. It's pretty big.
Okay. And then
Laura,
5 to 6 inside?
Yeah, in normal times or in these times, because I'm not sure if you've been to Good Health over in Brockton. I mean, they're almost out to the street when they were open prior to the shutdown. I mean,
Right.
they were
That's what I was
doing 6 feet apart.
What I was going to address is just that what people currently assume the lines to be at cannabis stores, that landscape is shifting. As more and more stores come online in the next few years and more towns have put stores into their towns, you're not going to see the same amount of traffic and lines at each store because there's just more places for people to purchase their marijuana.
Yeah, the other thing too, Laura, I know we talked about this previously, and I thought, well, at least my concern with the queuing is more that you have cars in the streets. Like I think this location kind of is, I don't want to say it's exempt from that, right? But because of the size of the parking lot there, I think even if they had people coming out the door, it's not like it's going to impede traffic. And that was one of our concerns we talked about just based on the locations of the different establishments.
I could potentially see other tenants having a problem with people queuing outside.
Yeah, and the way that is that place is tucked in the corner. you do have a little bit of room over as it comes, because there's a bump out wall as it comes to Roach Brothers there, and you can kind of come up around there. But if you go in any of the other direction, you're in the best sandwich shop ever. Actually, you're in the
The massage place.
yeah, the massage.
I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a massage before you go
Or
in.
a
So.
sandwich while you're waiting to get your
Right.
lead.
Exactly. If they come out with samples, they'll probably actually increase their business. I have two more questions. Actually, speaking of that, you mentioned like a gift certificate to kind of like the local businesses if they
Yes.
spend like a certain amount of money. Is that legal? Can you like tack on some sort of an incentive with cannabis?
Promotions are not legal right now, but that's been a big topic on their topic of discussion with the commission to try and loosen that a little bit.
Gotcha.
And we won't
And
be
then-
promoting it out. It would just be kind of something that you find out when you're in the store purchasing.
More of a hopeful idea right now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then in respect to the revenue, have you guys kind of readjusted those numbers given the impending recession and downturn in the market?
No, we did not, but we will.
Well, I hear you, but I'm not certain that things like alcohol and marijuana don't usually lose out during a recession. Everybody
Well,
wants their.
I think this one's quite different though. I mean, we're already beyond the recession of 2008 and we're only a month into this thing. So, I mean, I can't imagine that there's not going to be a difference in sale. Again, I'm not a consumer. I see Michael shaking his head, but
Vice-
and Laura's
Vice-
shaking their head.
So I defer to your expertise in that regard, but
Do you expect it?
Sorry.
I was going to say, Renee, do you expect a downturn in the liquor industry?
Oh my God. If I didn't have a job, didn't know when I would have a job, have limited funds coming in from unemployment, I certainly would reprioritize my expenses. And that just means that I go to my friends' houses to drink versus buying it myself. Right?
But there's still alcohol being purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah, vices don't fail. Their vices are recession proof.
Yeah,
We should put
People
some
will
money
buy
on that, though.
cigarettes. People will buy cigarettes. People will buy alcohol. People will buy marijuana. They will go to entertainment clubs. It's
Nice, Michael.
I do have one question though with regards to the projections, and that was with regards to, so right now because supply is limited, the pricing of the product is really, really high. You were stating that you expect more cultivators to come online in 2021, thereby dropping wholesale pricing. I'm assuming that would be passed along to retail to some extent. Are these numbers anticipating that a steady supply and a lower price per pound than is currently available?
Yes.
And Melissa, if we had a local cultivator in town, would you prioritize partnering with them versus
Yes.
others?
Yes. I was actually going to say that tonight, but I don't know, it kind of slipped my mind. But yeah, I know that I see on the minutes that other cultivators have came and proposed their ideas. So that would be definitely that we're interested in. And I think that that's really important for Norton residents as well. You know, as a Norton resident going into the shop and purchasing something that literally was grown in Norton, I think that that's really special. And I think that that's important and should be prioritized.
And to your point about the pricing changing and more stores coming online, the current models took that into account because currently people are making 10 to 15 million a year. The stores in existence, and our projections are in the 8 million range, already taking into account the fact that the demand will drop a little bit as more stores come online and the price of the product drops. But I don't know how much it's really going to drop at the store compared to at the wholesale level.
Yeah, I think the margins will actually go up more than the price will drop. I mean, I definitely think that in time, I mean, maybe 5 years, that the price will drop looking at states like Oregon and California and such, but I don't think that we're there yet. I think that people are going to take a higher margin for a while before dropping that price to the consumer. It will definitely go down, but not
even
not
in
that
Oregon,
as
even in Oregon and Colorado, where I've experienced, they're at the store level, prices don't reflect the wholesale,
sure.
the disparity
Yeah,
between
you're
the
right.
wholesale and the retail.
You're right. It's better than we have it here now, but I mean, there's still very large margins out there.
Is security more of an issue in this spot than if it was in free? Because obviously there's not much room behind the building,
Mhm.
and in a retail spot where if it was a freestanding building, does that concern you in any kind of way, shape, or form? Being in a retail establishment like a shopping plaza for security?
No, and I'm not going to really speak to that because I'm not the best person with security, but our partner, Tony Gallo, he's been doing this for a really long time. Before he worked in the marijuana industry, he worked with pawn shops and a lot of high-risk businesses. So he has a lot of experience with them being in plazas and really handling all of those security. I do know that like our vaults and our storage rooms, since we are adjoining other properties, those will have metal walls, so that somebody at the sandwich shop just can't break the wall and come in and rob our storage room. So I know that in that sense that there'd be extra security for that, and then all of our deliveries will be out of the back. But we do have there's 2 people in the delivery van, so one person will always be supervising as the other person brings the product in. But they are not armed. But that's why we try our best to randomize the delivery times. And a lot of the delivery times are going to be even before we're open. So there's not going to be people at the plaza that much anyway. And, somebody that is there would kind of stick out.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? Hey, Denise? I see she's mute. I just want to make sure she usually has
Unmute.
a question. Denise, I just wanted to see if you had any questions before these guys headed out. Sorry if you're mid-chew.
I'm good. You guys covered it all, I think, actually. It was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, great. Well, hey, guys, I really appreciate your time on here. I know, Alyssa, you said that you're going to dial back in,
Yes.
which is fantastic. I don't know we're going to have anything interesting to talk about, but I certainly appreciate you coming with the presentation. And I know I sent you an email like 15 minutes before the meeting, but if possible, if we can have a copy of this deck, that would be great, just so we can include it with our meeting materials. And then, we'll keep you posted, obviously, as things kind of progress here in respect to town meeting. We might have some more information on that tomorrow. So just know that you'll hear from us as we know more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time and the
All right.
presentation today. It was very informative.
It was
Thank
a
you.
great
And you too.
Thank you.
Michael, did I just see like some leg from you over there?
Leg?
I
Oh,
see your
yeah.
hand is raised.
I mean shorts. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Any discussion that you guys wanted to have on the presentation or information?
It's so funny how the presentations have gotten so progressively better. I mean, that was very thorough. I mean, I'm not sure how you guys feel, but I feel that was probably before this was Solar Therapeutics, but then this one was just very thorough. So,
Yeah, no, I think so too.
She
the
also
only-
had the advantage of, she was on our call last week when we were going over the RFI, so.
I forgot about that. I texted Renee and I said, were you coaching her up? Because she had every point of like that we were just talking about. Now that you say that, we gave her the
Yeah.
roadmap.
Well, if you
We gave her
also
the Cliff
heard her,
Notes.
she also mentioned she was looking at our minutes, so she's clearly picked up at least a draft RFI.
Question to ask you: does anyone have a sense? One of the things that worries me is, and I don't think it's a worry that we can do anything about. But is there any discussion or any concerns from the group about the social justice applicants or CCP favors that if things go wrong, they'll be subsidized or taxes will be reduced for this group of individual? I know it's a long shot and all that, but is there any concerns? Does anyone else think of that as this is going to be a protected group? And I'm not sure if we can have a choice one way or the other, by denying a social justice person.
I mean, I'm not, no, I think, you know, I think that the CCC looked at this, and I talked to somebody when I was at the conference as well, right? And he was in the same boat, but they had not only retail, but they were looking at cultivation too. And, you know, I think that they do a good job at providing a program for those who may not, you know, necessarily in other cases be successful in doing this. I don't think there's necessarily a difference on the outcome. I think, you know, we need to be aware of, regardless, that the HCAs probably aren't going to be around very long. And I think, you know, the discussions and agreements with towns and different establishments are going to change over time. I mean, there's always been that discussion about, are they legal? How long, you know, do they continue, and things like that. So I'm not concerned with it. I mean, I think, you know, there is some advantage for us, because they will get priority through the CCC, and, you know, in all of our conversations with I think everybody from the distributor on, right, they've mentioned that this could be a year or longer process for them to get a license. So the fact that there's a fast track for different establishments or owners, I think that can only work in our favor. That's my
And the
thought.
fast track is a year, and what is it, November 21?
Well, she listed it as a year, you know,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
we've also been hearing a year from other people too. So if that's the case, I mean, somebody has to be wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the things I think that will give them a leg up as well is, and I didn't know about this, but the social equity programs get the option to do delivery for 2 years exclusively, which, you know, especially if other towns allow them to deliver.
Oh, that was my question. I'm going to have to ask her when she comes back on.
If they have, you know, if we've got one social equity, there aren't many. There's literally one in the state right now. If we got one and they were able to do delivery, that's going to exponentially increase their sales, especially if they can go to other towns. So that gives them a leg up potentially as an applicant.
So, hey, speaking of sales, can I throw something out again that you all may want to come and attack me for, but since we're socially distancing, you can't. Laura knows where
I know
I'm
exactly what this is.
No, listen. So no, like I've been, you know, we're obviously, like, we've been having discussions about town meeting, what's going to be on town meeting, about the budget. What do we do right now? Like, we're going to have to make some changes, right? We just are, just like any other company has done with COVID-19, we're going to have to make changes. And I hate to say this, but like, I was driving tonight to get pizza, and I'm really thinking about like this 2 license. Like, I know, Laura, but because it's, you know, I look at it like based on the town and based on where we're positioned and the options that we have across the town. Like, I don't think that 3 is too much for this town. And when I think about where we're going to be in a year and how we're going to need more revenue in the town, and this is a limited program, like, I mean, you look at it like the liquor stores, right? We have 9 package stores, right? And how many different restaurants do we have where you can buy alcohol? I mean, I just don't, like, if it's something, like, my thought is if it's something that people aren't comfortable with, it's changed on town floor and we go with 2. But I really think when we look at it from an economic development for this town, where we are right now heading into a recession, I really do think that we should extend that to 3.
Is there wording that we can do that? So right now, to add a 3rd license, we would have to do a bylaw change, correct?
It would just be a change in what we're proposing right now.
No. Forget about, let's say we go with what we have right now. To change it after the fact would require a bylaw change.
It would require a bylaw change, which requires a meeting, which requires, you know, town council reviewing it.
Okay. So is there a way to put in, is there wording that we put in there that may expire after its time, that we can evaluate up to a 3rd license a year after or 2 years after the first one opens? Like, I'd be more open to that than just saying 3 licenses. I
think we should crawl before we walk.
Agreed.
I also think it's very unlikely that we are going to get anybody interested in being the 3rd retailer in a town as tiny as Norton is.
So we have 3 right now who have site control. We have 1 trying to get on the planning board,
And none of them,
in an industrial zone.
none of them may ever open.
They may not, but again, why don't we have that option? It kind of goes back to Laura, what you were saying is why wouldn't we engage in more HCAs and just, whoever gets there first, which I don't
Because-
agree with that process at all.
Because we have to sell this to the town first. We are working under the assumption that this is a done deal. You have to do what is in the best interest of the town, and you have to consider what's in the best interest of the town and what the town is willing to allow. And I think we're better off going with the most conservative option out of the gate.
Laura, I changed my mind even about adding a third. I think it would be a mistake trying to add a third one in right now. I think it would be.
If we had already sold this and it was a done deal and it was in the bylaws, it's going to take so long for anybody to get up and running that the first one could actually be out of business before a third one got an HCA or got a special permit to open.
Well, then that to me is even more reason than why wouldn't we have three?
Because we haven't sold it to the town yet.
No,
That's
I understand
the most
that, but
important
what
part.
I'm saying to you is why isn't that part of our package? And the package
Because-
being that we have a deficit. We have over a $900,000 deficit right now on our. Just listen, on the budget, and we're heading into a time where we have less revenue coming in because we have restaurants closed. We have less revenue coming in for other reasons. We have people who are unemployed. All of these factors are really indicating like we need to think long term about how do we jumpstart the economy here. And going back to, if you guys are saying that the sale of cannabis is not going to take a hit, then why aren't we capitalizing on that for these? It's not like we're building, like these are huge areas. This is like what Alyssa spoke on is it's a small storefront, right? It's a yogurt place right now.
Yeah.
I am thinking specifically on getting this passed at town meeting. And I think the way to do it is to make sure that we've demonstrated that we were conservative and thoughtful and aren't just going to throw them up everywhere, because it's just going to give the opponents more ammunition to oppose it. And the talk about revenue, that's great. We need more revenue, but we need more immediate revenue. And any license that we're talking about right now has an 18 to 24 month horizon. It's not going to solve our problems immediately. So
I'm not looking for an immediate solution. I'm not looking for an immediate solution. I'm looking for a long-term solution, right? And then when you look at employing people in town, where we will have people who don't have jobs and already do have people who don't have jobs, I think that these are opportunities that not only from a revenue perspective, but also from an employment perspective that can certainly only benefit us. I get what you're saying. And like I said, I don't, if that's the feedback that we get from an information session, that 3 is too many, right? Then I think that we should look to dial it back. But that doesn't mean that, we don't pursue that in the bylaw.
But you're just talking about spreading the same market thinner.
Right.
That's all you're doing.
Yes.
as two of the site control ones are literally like what, an eighth of a mile away from each other.
No, that's much farther.
I don't.
No.
What do you mean?
Not.
Xfinity down to
From the mini golf place to Roach Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably almost a half mile.
Or
That's
a
like a
half mile. That's not even different. That's not even close to being different markets, right? So ideally, you'd have one there. You'd have one at the Attleboro line, and you'd have one at the Easton line. The one at Xfinity, the one in Attleboro, is going to have competition from Mansfield and Attleboro. The one that isn't going to have as much competition would be down by the Easton line, because Easton's banned it.
Yeah, something, I didn't know that until right now today, and that's going to be. I think that's going to drive some of the industry. I think that's going to drive the other side of town. But with that being said, I think we're not big enough, Renee. You're basically, what you're doing is I think you're thinning the pot. No pun intended. The pool of customers over 3 businesses instead of the 2.
Yeah, $243,000 for the year is not a ton of money to spread that even thinner across,
Right.
3 instead of 2, it's
Well,
not going to
how is it spreading it thinner? It's still going to be, if people are going to come to Norton to buy it, they're going to come to Norton to buy it. Like the difference is if we had 3 buildings and one alone or one that they were, renting, right? That's additional real estate revenue too.
But there are 320 customers a day, right? So there are 320 customers a day. That if that was, that isn't even probably close to what their capacity is going to be. And if that's 100% capacity, that's a different issue. We should be looking at, you need to look for, this license needs to be doing 600 people. You need to look for a larger facility. But 320 for the 2,200 square feet, from what I can take, that's not even close to capacity.
Renee, think about it this way. It takes so long, it's going to take so much time and effort of the town and us and the planning board and the applicant to get licensed and opened. We want to give them the best chance to succeed, and diluting their market straight off the gate is not in our best interest. We want them there. We want them for the long term. And, I think this town could probably be perfectly fine with just 1. I think 2 is an acceptable number. 3 for a town our size is just.
I mean, and I know Alyssa's on the call. I do worry that Roach Brothers, having one in Roach Brothers, will hurt a big store that wants to go into the Roach Brothers location. I'm not saying that should be the reason why it doesn't go. I'm not saying that, but I do think I worry about what goes in that space, and all indications show that it's going to be subdivided, right? I mean, I think that's all.
Ideally, we can, get somebody like Horizon Beverage in there and put in a distribution
Exactly
option in
I
that
was
space.
actually thinking about the guy from Maine for cultivation. Because he
I
said he was looking at 50,000, right? And didn't you say that property 70? Isn't the store 70,000?
Maine is the Casco Botanicals.
Yep.
Yeah, he wanted minimum 20,000 to be able to expand up to 100, and that's only 43 or 47,000 square feet.
I thought it was in the 70s. I
No,
thought Roach's
100.
was 70.
No, it's either 43. Oh, hang on, I got it right here. It's either 43 or 47. It is 46,167. So it's not even half of his maximum. What he's looking to grow
Oh, they
out
were
to.
looking at 3 acres. They were looking at minimum 3 acres anyway to be sitting on. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Distribution, I think if we can get Gator on board and the folks from Horizon like the space, I think that's an ideal marriage if that works. But
Yeah, I left a message for him. I didn't hear back yet.
Okay.
I also probably should have called his cell phone, and I called his business line. I didn't realize it until somebody else answered.
I'm sure he's got it forwarded.
So with that being said, Renee, can we, what else is on the agenda here? I think
So just some updates on the application process. So let me, I'm just going to comment. So Laura and I met with Mike and Paul. They both were supportive of what we had proposed. Actually hadn't provided, I don't think any changes, any suggested changes. I'm just going to pull up, I just want to see my specific notes. Hold on. I'm going to pull up my email. Paul provided us comments, and I'll just read through those comments in respect to areas that, and Laura actually talked to it earlier tonight, things that the planning board, like within the special permitting process that the planning board asks for. So hold on one sec.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I have it up if you want to open to my screen. The only question he really had was the very last bullet point in addendum A, the review criteria. He was just asking how it was to be measured. My feeling on it is it's somewhat intangible.
Give more because I didn't.
Oh, sorry. The respondent's proposal integrates into the overall goals of the town of Norton.
Okay.
Oh, right.
And he wants to know how that's measured.
But isn't
Yeah,
that one of the things? Isn't that almost, and excuse my crudeness, almost like how the Supreme Court judges pornography? You know it when you see it, right? I mean,
Kind of, yeah. You know, it's going to come down to a feel.
right. I mean, that's totally what it's gonna.
I think it's going to come down to field. It's going to come down to who offers what from a perspective of community support, and if there are any hot topic items at the time. So, say for example, we have, like something going on with the war on drugs that takes, I don't want to say takes priority, but certainly becomes an issue on the forefront. That we may look at those types of things. In respect to how does it fit into our overall structure. But I think even our conversation on a number of licenses, right? It's going to be a conversation holistically, like with the engagement of everybody from the group to really think about, why are you smiling, Michael? To
Because
really
you're
think
not,
about that.
I know you're like a dog with a bone in this multiple license thing.
No, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I think I've said this from the beginning. I think we're limiting ourselves. I think, I don't feel that this project is as negatively assumed as other projects we have had. That's not saying it's not going to come out of the woodwork, but I think that there are a lot of things that people want in this town, and they're going to realize very quickly that we don't have the money to do it.
I think if this conversation, say we get this passed and we do the 2 years and we open up the conversation, we get the passed, and then a year later we're like, they're so successful. We have a third applicant who wants to do this. I'll be the first one to say I reserve my right to change my mind at that point. But
and that's fine. But you need to understand that now you're talking about potentially an 8-month long process to get that change to happen.
No. Let's hope not.
Well, let's hope not. But we can't assume that that's going to pass either. So right. So I'm thinking worst case scenario, and the fact that everything is tied to a town meeting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this, right? Like we're in the middle of a pandemic, and because we don't want to expose people in an environment where you're close, right? We can't do it remotely, so we have just held off like our entire budgeting process for the next fiscal year. I mean, it's silly.
But
I'm
I think
stunned FinCom has not met in over a month.
No, I know, and that's their meeting. They're coming up a meeting, but we had the selectmen haven't even looked at the budget. Right? Aside from where we met with them jointly, like we have to vote on it too. I mean, this is coming from us. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes. I can tell you, I have my list of things already of a lot of changes of this is not going to make it in the budget. Like it cannot.
Right. I think to your point, Renee, I think we had a strategy, and while 2 was the strategy, and I know times change, I don't think you change strategies in reaction to what's hopefully going to be something that's the cannabis, the licenses we're going to issue is for long-term effect within our town. I don't want to overreact and just chunt this because
Michael, I've been at 3 licenses since the beginning, like way before the pandemic. So I'm not overreacting. I'm thinking that the environment's changing where the concern has always been that we might not be able to pass it by proposing 3 licenses. That's also a proposal of 3 licenses. It's not saying that the Board of Selectmen would approve 3. It's simply saying that we have the option to do it. But I think that we're going into an environment of economic turmoil where I think we would have more likelihood to pass it. But I'm not going to belabor that point. Like if we're staying at 2, we're staying at 2, and that's fine. My position hasn't changed, and I think there's more support for it now. Anyway, back to the feedback from Paul and Mike. So the other thing too is, and I just want to mention this because Paul put in points here about, what actually is being reviewed at the planning board as part of the special permitting process. But, he mentioned under the plan for positive community impact. So specifically the hours of operation, ensuring protection of public health. I don't know that, I didn't think all of these things are under here. I think he just highlighted the section, but I mentioned these because I want to make sure that when we move forward with this, Laura, I didn't feel that anything that he mentioned that the special permit or site plan review was going to cover, that it needed to come out, because I think they're all important requirements for us to review as part of the review commission.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I think it has the possibility of saving planning board some time if we can get them those packets in advance of even the presentation from the applicant.
Yeah, we
For the
have to talk
special
to them
permit.
about that. I don't know that they would take them, but we can certainly talk.
Well, at least Paul will have reviewed them.
Right,
Paul will have them
exactly.
on file. He will have reviewed them, hopefully give, the planning board some guidance on them. I would hope it should save a little bit of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Me a favor,
The other thing that, Michael,
Yeah,
just one
actually,
second.
just
Let me
real quickly,
just
just
go
for-
through the, go ahead.
just for the notes, just so I'm to be honest, I got caught up in some of the conversation and I fell a little bit behind. So
No,
basically, their concerns of the procedure,
No.
no, they were
no,
worried the scoring process or the decision process. That was
So
one of
the only thing he had really a question on was the last bullet in the review criteria. He wanted to know how it would be measured, and that's how the applicant's proposal integrates into the overall goals of the town of Norton. Everything else in his comments just simply stated the planning board role during the special permit and site plan meeting where there might be a potential duplication of efforts.
and I don't even know if he was saying it's a duplication of efforts other than,
Yeah, he
rather
was
than just
pointing it
saying
out.
it happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to happen with the special permit and site plan review too.
Yep.
So, and that was under item 4, plan for positive community impacts. He highlighted all the items A through H, as well as the sentence about the respondent has proposed a location appropriate for the proposed use, given the scale and nature of the use, including but not limited to potential impacts on parking and traffic and queuing of customers. And then that the respondent address the potential detrimental municipal impacts and propose acceptable mitigation measures. That's, the planning board does that as well. And then his question on the measurement of the integration of the goals. So it wasn't much, but I felt like we had a good conversation with both of them in respect to, how we kind of outline the process and next steps with town council and then review by the board.
So those notes were from Paul or from Mike?
No, those were from Paul.
From Paul, okay.
And Mike didn't give you any feedback.
No, he said that he thought it was a good process. We talked early on because there's an applicant now trying to get on the planning board agenda, which they certainly can because they have a location that's zoned right now at industrial, and they've gained site control for that. And so, one of the things that we talked about, again, going back to, not sending multiple people through the planning board to inundate them when, we really need to rely on this process to provide suggestions and recommendations to the Board of Selectmen to engage in HCA's. So,
Renee, who's trying to go to planning board?
Rosenbuds.
Where?
That site down at the end in the Norton industrial area, down the end of South Washington.
Is that the one that you had me look at?
Yes. Yep.
That was industrial? I thought that was in the overlay, but maybe it was
No.
already industrial.
It's all industrial down there.
So
And
Okay.
they met with Jennifer on that too, I believe she told me.
So let me ask you this, Renee. So normally if we pass that process, they wouldn't even be at the planning board at this point. Is that correct?
Who?
Rosenbuds would not be at the planning board at this point. If that process was, if we
If
passed,
it was in place, correct. Yep.
they wouldn't have, okay, yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean, is it inappropriate for the town to tell them to, listen,
It is, because we don't have the bylaw in place. We don't have a procedure in place. The only thing that they're required to do, and based on what's in the bylaw right now, is find something that's zoned within industrial. And if they meet all the other requirements, and they even went with requirements for a registered medical dispensary that doesn't even apply to retail. So
Yeah.
they have every right to go to the planning board now and pursue their special permit, but they'll need an HCA from the Board of Selectmen. So assuming that that's not far out, that we still haven't gotten feedback from council, so I'm going to follow up with her tomorrow. I thought maybe I missed it, over the last couple of days of chaos. But as soon as we get that back, I'm going to try to get it tomorrow so we can actually take it to the board tomorrow night.
all right, so you gave us an update on Mike and Paul. What, Rosenbuds, where else are we on the agenda?
No, that's it. We just had an update on the application process. So that'll, I want the HCA back before I send this to Katie. Like, I think the HCA is more critical to at least get her comments back on it, because it's been back and forth, you know, for what, 2 months now between the board and the IDC. I think it's been with her for 6 weeks already. So, I'll follow up on that, try to get that and get this application process off to her. And then the only other thing on the agenda, unless there's more discussion on the oh, I do have an update. Nicole sent me a note so that the signs went in the ground yesterday or today for the notification of the zoning changes for the overlay.
Oh,
So I owe her, and this is the, I asked her not to post the bylaw because we have a couple of changes that came back from our planning board meeting, but I'm gonna have her post the overlay, and then I owe her like an intro slide just to say what the overlay is. So I'm gonna use the notes that we had previously that we presented to some of the other groups, just in respect to kind of, you know, what we looked at for the marijuana, just a high level summary, not getting into the detail, so that when people actually go to that website, they'll have some background on what the IDC's been doing.
Renee,
So-
do you have a date of when those signs went in the ground?
It was yesterday or today. Hold on, let me look. I just saw her email right before this meeting.
So the bylaw changes, though, don't we already put those in right after the last meeting?
We did, but remember I said I thought there was a version control issue? So
Okay.
it still needs to go, I still need to send it to town council
Okay.
as a final, because remember we changed that one part too at the end that we thought was correct, and she hasn't responded about the whole access point. So that's on my list too. You remember that, Denise? Like, we asked about putting language in there about access from the main roadway.
Right. I think we added verbiage in there of this red line.
When did we
From
do
the-
that? Because it wasn't in there before.
After the last meeting, I thought we added in just a little blip, but I could be wrong. I don't remember now. I'd have to look.
I don't think we did, but we can touch base afterwards and confirm that. Because I wrote it down, and after you and I hung up, I wrote it down as a question for her on where we would put that and what that language would be.
So are they sending
Um,
out mailers too to all the properties? Like, aren't they supposed to send something in the mail to them?
They do. So Michael, the signs went in the ground today. Wait, what's today? Wednesday? The signs were in the ground yesterday, Tuesday the 14th. And then it directs the people to go to the town website to see more info about the overlay.
Awesome.
So that's done.
you can tell people aren't really up and about or driving around very much. I just went and checked on Facebook. I'm shocked nobody's commented on it yet.
Oh, the signs?
Yeah.
Right.
I just looked
Well,
on.
you know what?
Well,
Again,
I looked
they're
on.
like this big. I mean, who's going to see them? Like, we've talked about this, about what really is the benefit of that archaic bylaw.
Well, I think the people living in the immediate area that are going to be impacted are the ones that are most likely to notice them and comment.
Yeah.
Nothing on
So-
Norton Neighbors as of right now.
Somebody should take a picture and post it. Or wait until we get the, I just want to make sure the overlay is
I mean,
up on the
I was gonna
website.
ask the group, does that benefit us or hurt us?
No, the more information that we can get out, the better.
All right.
Um,
I'm good for a good stoke of the fire.
right. Hey, Sandy, is Serpent, are they working? Like, are they still doing things? You guys meeting and stuff?
Yep, we're still meeting. We're still,
Okay.
still working remotely.
Are there Zoom sessions running as smoothly as ours?
No.
It's funny. Okay, I'm just trying to find the meeting.
Are we gonna wait
No.
though, for Michael, who wants to stir the pot there? Are we gonna wait until you get that stuff up on the website?
Yeah. I don't want to send anything out until we get it, until it's at least the overlay is up on the website. I mean, I don't mind putting a draft bylaw, like to list on their draft bylaw, because we can just put a red line up afterwards.
Renee, that hasn't gone up yet.
I don't believe so. From Nicole's email, I think that I know she's waiting for me to do an overview, and I told her we had some bylaw changes, but I just, I don't know if she put the overlay up or not. You can check, go to the planning
Yeah.
board.
Yeah,
Site?
I'll do that.
Okay, I have to go to I gotta go to the town website anyway to look at what meeting minutes we were gonna approve last time. I didn't send them out again since we already sent them. I figured we didn't need to kill the servers on our stuff. Were we the first ones to have a remote meeting? No, right?
I don't know. No.
I think the
The,
planning board maybe
Serped
did.
might have been first.
by the way, the zoning, those, the overlays, I believe are on them. Hold on a minute. Let me just double check. The core village core is.
Oh, one other thing while you're looking is I've noticed quite a few people have started following the IDC Facebook page.
Yep.
So
That
we
Michael
should-
hasn't given us admin permissions to yet.
No, we did.
Oh, really? Really, miss? Oh, like
Did
3
you?
weeks ago? Yeah, nice try. You know, some
How many?
throwing
How many?
stones. Know your fact. 3 meetings ago.
He did.
Was it 3 meetings ago that you gave us access?
Yes.
Shouldn't I have received an email saying you now have administrator access to
Listen,
the site?
if you didn't check your emails, I can bring the horse to the water.
I have nothing. I have
Right here.
nothing from you.
It
I have
wasn't
your
an
meeting
email.
minutes.
It was just a notification from Facebook that you had been granted admin control.
And I believe I did send it to the group that I did that, but I'll double check. But I know I definitely did it 3 meetings ago.
I
So
got it. I'll back you up.
Thank you, Miss Laura. You know, you're
You probably skipped me
You know,
intentionally.
like I said. If trust me, I jump when Laura says jump.
Yeah, damn right.
God.
All right. To my point, we have a page on Facebook with no content.
You're right.
Yep.
So, you know, and it's something that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about. I don't mind. I mean, what should we put out? I mean, what do you want to put out there?
I think we mirror what we put from the planning board, and we put a section about important dates. I don't know that we have any right now. That's the problem, right? We don't. I mean, we're planning a public info session that was canceled.
No, but
We'll
what
need
we
to know
can
the
do-
public hearing date. We'll have to post that.
So what we can do though is we can post what I think we should do is post the bylaw change, right? The zoning law, the overlay changes, right? We put the maps out there and put
Yep.
that on Facebook, okay? And then we go to Norton Neighbors and just refer them back to that link.
Yes.
Okay. I think we should also just start with the basics of like who's on the IDC's page on
I thought
Town Hall.
I thought it's on there. It's not.
Let me just I'll make sure it's up to date. And
Why don't we just use? Oh, it's Facebook. That's why. Never mind.
The last time I
Maybe-
looked, it was very light on content.
Well,
Oh,
then
it's
what I would
on,
do
but-
is link it back. I would link it back to the IDC page on the town website that has all of us listed with our email
is
addresses and
that
such.
is that up to date? I don't think that's up to date.
And the only one that's not on there is Frank.
Oh yeah, where's Frank then?
I don't know. The last meeting he sent me a note beforehand saying he wasn't feeling well.
Okay, then what are we?
Bless you, Sandy.
Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is what I'll do the who we are and then I'll also do the
Grab our mission statement, right?
Put the
I thought-
mission statement. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
mission
mission-
statement's right on the front of that page. Is on the page.
Is it? Just make sure it matches the one on the town page.
Yep.
Just go to
I'll
the
make
town
sure.
page and copy everything there and put it out there. That's
Okay.
it. And then
All
we'll put the documents.
All right, I can have that done by probably by tomorrow.
Isn't that brochure that we were working on finished? Can we put that on there too?
Is that brochure finished?
No,
Brochure's not finished.
Okay.
that's not
it's finished.
close. No.
Okay.
Do you want to put the minutes?
Laura's face.
Question? We've got the collection of the minutes. Do you want to put the minutes all out on there?
No, the minutes go on the town website.
I know. You don't? Okay.
I don't want them anywhere else. No. It's already I think a lot for people to follow. So just refer them back to the IDC page on the town website for minutes and agenda items.
Michael, I'm just looking at it now. You do have the members listed, but then you have some old members. You have Davey.
Yeah, we just haven't updated that.
You can list the members if you just want to either update or link back to the website.
I believe everyone has administrative access to, so. But absolutely, I'll be glad to take that and let you guys know about it by tomorrow.
Okay. So just remember on there on the Facebook page, right, not making quorum. So let's not get into discussion items that we need to be discussing in open meeting. I'm fine if we want to put something up where people can submit comments, but we'll have to close it so we don't write back, or we have to say to them, feel free to submit comments that we'll talk about at a future IDC meeting, but we'll not provide comments here until we get to a point where we have one person that can do it. We can link to their, if we wanted to do the audio recordings that we've had, we can link to the Norton Media page. Oh, I think I have to put that on the meeting minutes too for last time. It is up there. I'm guessing you guys have seen it.
It is. I saw it go up.
Yeah. I meant to send an email out. I think Laura, you got a text from me and that was about as far, or maybe Denise got a text from me and that was about as far as I went.
Yeah, I get notifications every time a new video gets posted to Norton Media Center, so I saw it go up.
Perfect.
How do you is that right on the media center you can do for notifications for them? Is that on the YouTube page that you do that?
I think it's on the Norton Media Center page, if I remember correctly.
Notifications.
Hang on. I can't get any. How do I minimize the screen that I'm looking
Just
at?
hit escape if you're in full view.
Got it. Hang on. I'll tell you what it looks like.
I think my kids might be in bed already. Thank God we were muted earlier. It sounded like an earthquake was happening at my house.
Yeah. So from their YouTube channel, you can sign up for updates when new videos post to Norton Media Center specifically.
You know, it's weird. I only get certain ones. So I don't think I did it there. Like I got the COVID-19 information.
Oh, I haven't seen yours. I haven't. Well, maybe I haven't. I just.
It went out a few days ago. It's not final. He just needed to post it so I could review it.
Oh, okay. The past
So
24 hours has been just a.
Yeah, no, this went up.
Nightmare.
I think you put it up Sunday. So we recorded it on Friday. He put it up on Sunday. And then I know when we didn't have power and when we didn't have internet, I was texting him. He was telling me what was on there and I was texting him with feedback.
I do. Tuesday, 9:09 p.m. It was uploaded.
That might be that must be the new version. Yeah.
So,
Is
Renee,
it
did you
4 or
find
do you see
the
1?
minutes?
I see 1 and it's 3 minutes long.
Okay, so he's breaking them up. Anything else on the marijuana, the Facebook page, whatever else we need, 3 licenses?
You were checking minutes.
I have the minutes up. So the first set, I sent these to you guys, April 1st, or we were supposed to review it on our April 1st meeting. So the first set of minutes that you received were from January 15th. I can scroll through these, or if you've already read them, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written from January 15th.
So
Motion
moved.
The minutes for January 15th, as is.
Yes.
Seconded.
Wait, who moved it?
Michael. Laura, seconded.
Okay, and then this is roll call. So Michael,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So the minutes for January 15th have been approved. The next set of minutes are, hold on, I have the video It's the only thing I don't like about this, the way the video takes over your screen. The second set are from January 29th, and saying those came out in the same packet to you guys and are posted online.
No,
That says
not it.
January 8th.
It does say January 8th. Hold on.
I was going to say, I thought we approved January 29th. Wasn't that the meetings I took? And I thought we approved those.
Let me look at my email. Well, I'm imagining she posted what I sent in the email, so hold on. Give me a sec. Was that no, Michael, that would have been a time beforehand, wasn't it? So we approved 221, 226, and 3-4. I think the 3-4 one were your minutes. That was on March 11th.
I wasn't.
And then,
I was in March. I don't think I was March.
hold on. I have a note here that's not crossed out for 129, but that file is not the right file. So let me take a
Let me
look.
check. Hold on a minute. I just changed computers, though. I'm sorry. Minutes.
It did say that popped up as, we didn't have a meeting on January 8th, did we?
Yep.
We did? We met on the first, or that was our first meeting of the year?
Looks like it, yes.
Okay, hold on. I gotta figure out why I
just
have.
so you know, I took minutes on 129 and they were approved. On
Yeah,
3.
so I
Well,
may
you know,
have.
We
Go ahead,
may
Barb.
not have met. I have IDC on the 8th. Let me see if I've got notes for it.
I thought we met on like the 2nd or the 3rd.
Hang on, I got all my notes
I do
in
too.
order. So,
Michael, you have your hand up again?
That was an hour ago, and Laura just talked over me.
So we met on the 2nd in January.
we did, yeah.
And then the next set I have,
Is the 15th,
yep.
and then the 29th.
So let me look if my file's wrong.
The 29th, we approved. Those were the minutes I took. So
Oh, wait, you know what? It didn't pop up. Hold on. I think I just had a delay on my computer. Let me just shut all these down. Let me try this again. 129. No, I see something's opening up over it. So this is the 129 file coming up on January 8th. My 129 file.
Renee, I'm logging
Okay,
in with a different device. You have to let me in from the waiting room because my phone's about to die.
Okay, I gotcha. Sorry.
No problem.
You should be in.
so I have record that those were approved on 3/11.
129 was approved on 3/11.
Yep.
I don't have it checked off on my 3/11 agenda, but
You remember because we went through the changes and there were some grammatical things that you guys changed, and I could send it to everyone, and I know for a fact we voted and approved it because I wrote final approved minutes on 3/11.
well, it'll be on the 3/11 agenda or the 3/11 meeting minutes.
We didn't video that.
I don't need a video. It's the next one on here.
Okay.
So let's skip that 129 file. We'll go to 3/11. I just don't know why it's coming up saying the 8th. So let me just look. Minutes from January 29th were reviewed and approved. So yeah, we had these January 29th, the 12th, 26th, and the 4th. So we did approve those. So I'll figure out what that other file is. But we met on the 15th. I think that one was approved, right? Was it the 15th? We went like the 2nd, and then I know we were the first meeting of the new year.
So where are we with the minutes for 3/11?
So 3/11 is up on the screen. I sent this on the 1st or the 31st in March. These
Okay.
were supposed to be approved last meeting. I can scroll through them, or if you've read them already from being distributed and posted, I can entertain a motion to approve.
I think I reviewed them last time we were meeting because we were supposed to approve them then. So
I can scroll through if you want to double check.
make a motion to approve the minutes for March 11th, 2020 as written.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor, roll call. Michael,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. So the minutes for 3/11, 2020 have been approved. And 129 already was, so I will just ignore that file up there. But I'm going to try to figure out why that's coming up as 118. I assume it's a typo, but I'll backtrack to my email. I don't have any other minutes to approve. Denise, did you send me minutes from the last meeting?
I did.
Okay. I'll get those on the next.
I'm gonna say we can do the next meeting. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I haven't sent them out to anyone, so I will review them and send them out. And then, Michael, you're going to do tonight's meeting?
I will get tonight's meeting.
Okay, and then with tonight's meeting, I'll send to you when I receive the file from Melissa. I'll send out the file and we'll attach that as well to the meeting minutes.
And I should make reference in the written meetings that this was also video recorded, I'm assuming.
Yes, and then once I get a link from Jason when he posts it to Norton Media Center, I'll add that link in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you'll have to note that it was all. I mean, the agenda says it, so if you're just going to go with the agenda, right? You just have to list that it was remote participation. Okay, any other matters to discuss?
Are there any action items for before the next meeting? Like, do you need me to do anything? Do you want me to compare the last version of the bylaws that I have to what you sent me from council?
No,
What I used-
no, I said I would do it. I'll take care of it. No, we don't have anything. The only action item is follow. Oh, you know what I do need, Laura? What I realized? So when I called Mike Epstein, I realized that I don't have Gator's contact information. Can you shoot that to me in an email or put it in that file?
Sure.
And then that way for anybody, and I'll put that on the email that I send to everybody as well, so that they can just contact them directly.
Okay, I'll do that now.
I laugh how Gator's done a 180 now that they saw the gravy train leaving. Oh yeah, marijuana. We love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Okay. Any other items? Go for it, Michael. Give it to us.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Hold on. Motion to adjourn by Michael, second by Laura. All those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
What happened to yes? Denise?
Michael
Yes.
started it.
I know he did. I am in favor as well. So
You're not aye.
I and yes. I yes. So thank you guys so much.
8:30.
Meeting adjourned as of 8:30 p.m. Oh,
2 hours. That's a record.
that is a record. 2 weeks for our meeting. So our next meeting, I don't know what the date is, but 2 weeks from today.
All right, before you get off, let me just say it so we can put it in the
The
minutes.
29th.
29th of April.
Okay. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Hey, hang out, Renee, for a minute. I wanted to say anyone else can this. Question. If
Wait,
you-
is this, can I stop the recording or are we done with the meeting? Or are you?
Yeah, stop the recording.
Okay.
Renee, you're all set with the RFI, right?
I am, yes. Yep. Thank you. Okay, thanks, guys.